Hello, everybody. This is Vivian Sever from Gandhara Independent Film Festival. Today, we're joined by Shamoon Abbasi, who is a writer, director, producer, and also an actor from Pakistan. His movie DURJ is going to be screening. I've been told that this is the first festival, actually, that DURJ has been submitted to. And even though I played at Cannes previously, we're really happy to screen it at our festival. And today we're going to be talking to the writer, director, and actor himself about the movie. So without further ado, thank you, Shamoon, for being a part of this talk and for submitting your film and letting the world see what Pakistani cinema can put forward.
Thank you, everyone, Vivian, and it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure being part of the Gandhara Film Festival.
So the first question, this is something that I've been thinking about for a long time, and I'm sure people asked you this question when you started your journey into making Durj. Why this movie? It's a dark subject. It relates to cannibalism without giving any spoilers. But why did you choose this story as your directorial debut?
See, Vivian, since I started my career as a director, was almost 90, I started around 1997, 98. I've always been very keen to, write and produce reality stories. They were closer to my, to my, the way I feel as a director. I always wanted to pick stories from the society that can sort of, express a particular subject that not a lot of people know. Now, this particular story, Durj, actually, it just sort of struck in my mind when I came to know that the first time when these two brothers were caught by the police, they've been released in 2 years only. So that was shocking for me. I was like, really, I mean, as a normal layman, when I went through the whole story, I was like, how is it even possible that the courts have just granted them 2 years? This is such heinous crime, digging graves and taking out bodies and doing all that stuff. So that sort of stayed in my mind. Well, previously, before doing Durj, I've been doing a lot of reality-based stories as well. So that thing is not that element is not was not new to me to actually indulge into a story which was this deep and this dark and this real. So what I did is actually started digging more and more and more into the fact that what happened, and unfortunately, you can say that I went uh, through the constitutional, documents of our, penal codes and everything, and I came to know that there was no particular, what you can say, there was no particular uh, case to be pointed towards these people. So they've been actually arrested and jailed in another case, which actually just uh, lasted for 2 years, and then they came back and then they restarted doing all that.
Yeah.
So my question was, uh, you know, are they being analyzed by some doctors, some psychiatrists, or is actually anyone keeping an eye on such people, or are they just freely roaming around in our society and they might come up with this thing again? So that was, the first thing that actually came in my mind.
So is that why you have two parallel storylines and then they converge with the psychiatrist and her want to find her missing husband, and so is that the precursor to that idea as well?
Yes, instead of actually, keeping it too simple that there's a psychiatrist talking to this character in a clinic or somewhere, I just wanted to, give it a twist by, you know, giving her a back story as well. So she has all that, rage and urge to get to know how his mind works. I just wanted to indulge in a cannibal's mind and how illogical their turns are towards life and towards the world. And once you will see the movie, and I'm sure the audience will see the movie, you'll see that this guy does not have logics.
Mm.
He defies logics, and he has his own thing going on, which he thinks is right to do because everybody is doing some sort of crime or some, they have escape points. I can get away with this as well.
So the second thing I'm really interested about is how does one go about funding this, especially an independent filmmaker who's not attached to a big banner, like the big TV channels. How does one go about funding this? Because investors are only concerned about their ROIs, and everyone would everyone would think that this is a movie that uh, would not get your investment back because of its dark subject. I mean, I could be wrong, but the question is, how do you go about financing something like that?
See, we were initially when we actually started this movie, we wanted to actually not uh, give it to the cinemas, and we wanted to be. We were more inclined towards reaching to Netflix, Amazon, or certain kind of platforms which are actually more accessible globally. And we wanted everyone to watch this movie and not just limited to a certain country's cinema. But eventually when the movie came to life and it was on the edit line and everything, so people started pushing me to put it in the cinema. And the moment we shared the first trailer, a lot of people, a lot, like in millions, people loved the concept. They loved the looks and the texture of the movie, and they said, finally we have a movie that we wanted to watch, no matter how dark it is, but we are going to watch this movie. So that became a sort of a business model for us, and we were like confident that at least, I mean, because I was not investing a lot of money, and the idea of me making money in Pakistan is not to drain your producer or your financiers into these big budgeted movies which they cannot even break even in the end of the day. I wanted to finance a movie which even if it does break even, you don't have anything to lose. I mean, you spent not that kind of money. You spent a limited amount on this and what I did is I took all the burden on me, myself, and Sherry Shah. And we did not, of course, charge for the movie because it was my own movie. So, if you're going to cast somebody like me for this movie, it's going to cost you 50 lakh rupees for all the effort that I've done in the movie. My beard was real for like I kept this beard for 2 years for this movie. Sherry Shah went bald for the movie. She gained weight and everything. So if you're going to cast somebody like that and give them this kind of role for this long, um, the budgets can just skyrocket. So I knew one thing, that me being the main lead and Sherry Shah being the main lead, we both can actually sort of control this part at least. And then by self-financing, we were self-financing in a way, my own cameras, my own edit, my own thing. I wanted, a lot of filmmakers to understand that we do not need to always be in the bigger circle of filmmaking. You can make a movie by, driven by passion. And it does not always matter that your film is a box office hit or not. Shawshank Redemption was a flop, basically.
Yeah.
You see, it was not a big Satyaji ki movies. If you watch them, they were not like super hit movies, but there are symbolic movies that still are being studied. So why not doing something in this era? So I knew exactly that I'm not going to make a lot of money, but what it gave me, it was the satisfaction of being totally in control, totally in charge of how I want to see my cinema. And then I have my certain following, which actually respects me for what I deliver every year. And I just wanted to create, just sort of target that niche. And that particular audience was with me all this time. They still respect me for, making those.
So now that we've covered the finance part, you already spoke about the distribution strategy. Initially, it was about targeting OTT platforms. So it's
Yeah.
more democratic globally. Uh, and later on, you decide you want to go to the cinema, but then it was banned. So, the movie is not really seen in Pakistan right now. Um, is it available anywhere on OTT platforms? Oh,
Yes, it is now available on Vidly.tv.
okay.
It is, it is one of the largest OTTs in Pakistan. And then it was also available for a year on our own YouTube channel. Then we had to remove it from there because we had this deal with Vidly. So, and then people, managed to watch it. I mean, there are hackers and people that just sort of download the movie. So a lot of people actually watched it, but not in the cinemas. Yes, you're right, it was banned. And then I had to sort of fight against this whole process, and I went to the chairman of the censor board, and I asked him personally that what is the problem and where do we actually fail, because I don't have any criteria. I haven't shown any vulgarity in the movie. I haven't shown any, and the language does not, comply to the situation. So what is wrong with the movie? So even the censor board was kind of confused, and they then eventually, when I put my foot down, then they had to release the movie, but the cinemas did not support it at all because it was too late. The actual date was gone, and then it came suddenly. So a lot of people thought it's still banned. They couldn't know.
Hmm.
We couldn't publish, market the movie in the right time. So a lot of people thought it's still banned, and then it played for like a week, 10 days, and it was off cinema. So a lot of people still ask me, "Oh, it was released. Oh, really? I couldn't watch it and everything." But yeah, this is what actually happened.
Hmm. So earlier in our own conversation, we spoke a little bit about distributors and there being an equitable sort of distribution of stories, because there are a lot of the space is given to the general rom-com movies, whatever. Um, why do you think distributors just don't want to push for these sort of movies uh, in terms of their marketing strategy to create more awareness about the movie going forward? Because obviously, yours, when it was released, the distributors could have made the public aware, so that obviously there would be more traffic to cinemas for your movie. Why do you think that wasn't done, or for any independent film which has a dark subject?
Okay, when DURJ was released, to be honest, the distributors were were pushing it so hard, and they actually made it possible to. It was the first movie that was titled as the most anticipated blockbuster of Pakistan. I mean, I still have those posters that were circulating on the internet, and my poster was like with the Joker and the Magnificent, and in the middle was DURJ. So I was in that category of the most anticipated blockbuster in in Pakistan. So that kind of push was actually provided by my distributor. So I won't say that my distributor, failed in that part. Where we actually, we took this damage was when the censor board suddenly, blocked the movie and banned the movie. The distributor couldn't do much about it. They had to just wait and see what happens. Now, once you lose that particular date when your movie is supposed to be launched, a lot of people, a lot of audiences are tuned that they already have groups planned to watch the movie. And that was my case because on every cinema pages, like, the cinemas, the new plexes, the atriums, it was filled with people that wanted to watch those, and they were tagging each other, and many groups were there, and you can simply see by just going to these pages that people have fallen in love with the concept of those. But what happened, the ban actually disturbed the whole schedule. Now the news of DURJ being banned circulated within a few hours, and it spread like fire. And Pakistani audience was so upset that they started actually trolling the censor board and the system and this that. And you see, once you find the door of a store closed when it's supposed to be open, you might not come back. You'll say, yeah,
Mm,
I don't want to buy this product anymore. I'll see it later. I'll watch it later. So we lost a lot of audience because of that one ban.
mm,
And so when it came, it suddenly came. Like, I was unbanned, and they said, okay, just put it next week. I was like, wait, let me at least announce the new dates. And the distributor was so tense because they had, put so much money into the movie already, that they were so, they would just wanted to release the movie right. So it was a mistake, but I had to follow suit. And then suddenly the movie, after being unbanned, was released without any announcement. So people did not know.
mm,
And suddenly there were three, four. There was Terminator with DURJ. Can you imagine? I mean, Terminator coming back after so many years. Even I am a fan of Terminator. How can you even match, the audience with that? So in one cinema there was Terminator, and the other one there was DURJ, and that was not a good deal
mm.
for us. So
I
yeah,
understand.
it did not work that well. But there were things. People, I was actually suppressed not to make money. Otherwise, people wanted to watch movie. This whole system banned my movie, so I don't make the actual money that I could make, because even cinemas and cinema owners said that this movie is not going to be less than 10 to 15 crore rupees of revenue. Even cinema owners were saying that, because they had bookings going on, pre-bookings going on, and we were so happy. We were like, oh great, so if we can make that kind of money, it's amazing, by financing so little. But the mainstream cinema does not like that you make small budgeted movie and then pick that kind of profit by just making a movie which was just produced in 2 crore rupees. The big setup does not like that. Very sorry to say this, but I openly say such things. Yeah, I'm known for that.
Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Abbasi. And please do catch his film Durj on our festival. It is an eye opener and will definitely enthrall you, not just because of how it was made, but also because of the subject matter. And it does point to what Pakistan can create as a cinema loving nation.